Well, I think that the president's attitude is that you try to fix things when you can. And the first thing that he did, you might recall, was he focused on tax reform last year. And he even put off any kind of trade negotiations for the whole time that we were pushing the tax reform. And so now he's trying to fix the trade policies around the world, too. You know, we've got asymmetries between other countries and the United States, and it's very top of the Trump agenda to fix those asymmetries and to negotiate better deals. Ambassador Lighthizer is out there negotiating right now with lots of countries, with Canada, with Mexico, and you saw the Europeans offered 0-0 on auto tariffs. And so I think that there's signs that there's a lot of movement and that Trump's strategy is working.
When you just look at numbers, and not everyone is, you know, I would say Republicans 90% don't like what's happening, Kevin. But when you just do pure numbers, so, you know, we sell China 200 million, whatever it is, 200 billion, they sell us 500 billion. It's very clear that, you know, if we were to do we could do tariffs on 500 billion, they can't even do it on 500. So we, theoretically, we can cause more pain to China. And I think we're seeing it in their currency and in the markets. But do they ever, and we don't know what the expression would be in Mandarin, but as far as crying uncle, they're not big on giving in or losing face and you know or saying, okay, you win. So I wonder whether there is a certain amount of pain where they'd actually come to our side of things. And if they don't, how long does this last if we never blink?
Right. You know, I think that the bottom line is that for years and years and years, and we've talked about it on the show before, China has been misbehaving and the WTO has been doing nothing about it. And so they've been stealing our intellectual property. They've been forcing our countries to locate their production in China if they're going to sell in China and so on. In fact, you know, if you look at it, we sell more to China than they sell to us. It's just that all the stuff we sell to China, we make in China. And so that they've not really been adhering to sort of the developed country rules with respect to trade. And we need them to just sort of be a better nation.
But what's the end game? That's never going to happen. Do you think they're trying? Do you think they're whispering in North Korea's ear to give us a hard time now because of the trade? Do you think that's linked because of our trade?
You know, that's not my lane. But I think that the end game is that China acts like a developed nation. That they lower their tariff barriers on us. They open their markets up to us. And if they do that, then I think that there's a positive outcome that we can see down the road. You know, if you look, the OECD did a simulation of what happens if countries around the world reduce their trade barriers to the level of the U.S. And it was a big positive for the world and an even bigger positive for the U.S. And I think that that's Trump's vision of the future. And I think, you know, you're right that negotiations are tricky and economists aren't necessarily the best at modeling what, how does it work out in the near term. But the long-run objective is something that I think both countries should share.
And then, you know, then you've got Europe and, you know, they're grousing and belly aching and everything else. But you look at the NATO stuff and it's like, I mean, really, what's the story? You know, how many of them are even at 2%? And supposedly we're spoiling, you know, we're making them mad there about NATO, and then we're making them mad about the tariffs, and they don't like it.
I mean, here's the thing, Joe. Like when I was looking at, for example, the German numbers, I was in Germany a little while ago, and they could get to the 2% and still have a budget surplus. And yet they refuse to do it. And so, you know, they've got treaties that obligate them to spend a certain amount of money, and very few of the countries are doing it. And that's the kind of stuff that President Trump is just calling people out on.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.